The world screams for your attention, doesn't it? Stress, demands, the relentless chase for more. That noise can be absolutely deafening, truly. It presses in from every angle, whispering insidious doubts, fueling a gnawing anxiety that never seems to fully dissipate, constantly pushing us further into a cycle of never feeling quite enough. We find ourselves trapped, chasing endless tasks, striving to control every single variable in our lives, meticulously planning and executing. Yet despite all that effort, true peace, genuine, unshakable peace, feels perpetually just out of reach, like a shimmering mirage on the horizon. But what if, just what if, the very secret to finding that elusive stillness, to anchoring yourself in an unshakable peace, isn't found in what you do or in what you acquire? What if it's not about working harder or owning more or even achieving some lofty external goal? What if it resides instead in an ancient whisper, a quiet, profound truth that has echoed through the ages? What if a timeless poem, penned thousands of years ago in a world vastly different from our own, holds the precise, actionable key to not just surviving, but truly thriving amidst this relentless modern chaos? It's not about escaping the chaos, you see, but about transforming your entire experience within it, shifting your internal landscape regardless of the external storms. Today we are going to unlock that very whisper. This isn't just another comforting verse we might vaguely recall hearing at a funeral, or perhaps during some quiet, reflective moment. No, this is much, much more. This is a radical blueprint, a complete, transformative framework for navigating life's most intense pressures, for discovering profound calm right in the eye of the storm, and for living with a deep sense of purpose and security. This is Psalm 23, but not as you've heard it before. This is Psalm 23, completely reimagined, reactivated, and applied directly for your modern life, for your struggles, for your moments of triumph, and for your journey forward. We're going to peel back the layers of familiarity to reveal its raw, living power, a power that promises to reshape your anxieties into peace, your doubts into conviction, and your striving into effortless progress. The Lord is my shepherd. Take a moment to really let those 6 words sink into your soul. What a foundational, almost revolutionary statement, isn't it? In a world that constantly, relentlessly pushes us to be self-made, to be fiercely self-sufficient, to hustle harder, to go faster, to always be performing at peak capacity, this opening declaration, this simple, profound assertion fundamentally flips that entire script. It's the ultimate anti-hustle mentality. It's not about your grit, your unyielding effort, or your endless striving for perfection. It's about a deeply liberating, intentional surrender to a divine guide, a powerful, loving, all-knowing presence that promises to lead you. Think for a moment about the profound relationship between a shepherd and his sheep. It's a picture of absolute dependence, yes, but also of complete security and unwavering care. The sheep, by their very nature, are not strategists. They don't plot their next meal, or worry about where they'll find safe water, or devise intricate defense plans against lurking predators. Their entire existence, their well-being, their survival, is utterly predicated on the shepherd's consistent provision, his diligent protection, and his wise guidance. This isn't weakness on the part of the sheep. It's a profound, liberating strength. It's an acknowledgement of where true safety and abundance lie. When you stand and confidently proclaim, "The Lord is my shepherd," you are not merely uttering a nice, comforting religious phrase. You are, in that very moment, fundamentally shifting your entire identity. You are moving from being an overwhelmed individual carrying the crushing weight of the world on your own shoulders, perpetually feeling inadequate or exhausted, to becoming a deeply cherished, profoundly cared for being, living under the direct, watchful eye and tender care of the ultimate provider. This shift changes absolutely everything about how you approach the gnawing anxiety over lack, the constant debilitating comparison traps set by social media, and the relentless pressure to perform until you burn out. It's a profound transition, a graceful pivot from exhausting self-sufficiency to joyful, effortless spirit sufficiency. Imagine the relief, the release, of knowing you are not alone in navigating the complex, often treacherous pathways of life. You are not solely responsible for finding every resource, solving every problem, or fending off every threat. There is a shepherd, a loving, wise, and powerful shepherd, who has taken on that responsibility for you simply because you have chosen to place yourself under his care. This isn't about laziness, it's about wisdom. It's about recognizing that there are burdens you were never meant to carry, battles you were never meant to fight alone. So I invite you to genuinely ask yourself, what burdens, what anxieties, what fears are you still clinging to, trying desperately to manage on your own, that you're simply not meant to? What if true freedom, true provision, and an unshakable sense of security begin with the radical, yet ultimately liberating admission that you are not meant to be your own shepherd? What if surrendering that burden is the first step towards a peace you've been desperately searching for? Following the profound and liberating act of surrendering to the shepherd, truly letting go of the burden of being your own guide, comes this incredible promise. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. Just picture that image for a moment. Truly let it settle in your mind. Lush, vibrant green, deep sustenance, and water that is not turbulent or chaotic, but perfectly still and refreshing. Isn't that an incredible vision? Especially in our frantically paced, always-on world, where exhaustion is often worn as a strange kind of badge of honor, where busyness is synonymous with importance. The very idea of being made to lie down, to truly, deeply rest, feels not just appealing, but almost revolutionary, doesn't it? We live in a society that prides itself on constant motion, on relentless productivity. We're wired to feel guilty if we're not constantly doing something, achieving something, pushing forward. But this verse challenges that entire paradigm. It's not just about taking a quick break from your screen or snatching 5 minutes of silence between meetings. No, this is about something far deeper, far more transformative. This is about rest as a strategic weapon against the constant barrage of demands on your time, your dwindling energy, and your very spirit. It's a deliberate act of defiance against the world's insistence that you must always be striving, always producing, always performing. We often, and quite mistakenly, confuse passive downtime with true, soul-restoring rest. We might spend hours scrolling aimlessly through social media or mindlessly binge-watching television shows, convincing ourselves we are relaxing. But how often do we finish those activities feeling genuinely refreshed, invigorated, and ready to face the world again? More often than not, we feel just as drained, if not more so, than before. But the shepherd, your divine guide, doesn't lead us to digital noise, to endless distractions that deplete rather than replenish. He leads us, purposefully, to green pastures, places of true nourishment, and to still waters, places of genuine, profound peace. These are not merely physical locations. They are states of being, states of mind and spirit that are absolutely essential for your well-being. The phrase, "He makes me lie down," is crucial here. It implies a loving but firm hand. Sometimes we are so deeply enmeshed in the culture of busyness, so addicted to the cycle of doing, that we are incapable of pausing on our own. We need that divine intervention, that gentle push, to truly stop, to breathe, to be present. We're often too wired, too anxious, too habituated to the grind to initiate that sacred pause ourselves. This verse, this ancient wisdom, calls us to actively reclaim the lost art of restoration. It's not a luxury to be indulged in only when everything else is done and there's a rare moment of free time. It's a non-negotiable discipline. It is an absolutely essential component for sustained thriving, for safeguarding your mental health, for nourishing your very soul, and for ensuring you have the resilience to navigate whatever challenges come your way. Think about the consequences of neglecting this vital truth. Burnout, chronic stress, anxiety, emotional exhaustion. These are the hallmarks of a life lived without the restorative power of green pastures and still waters. But imagine a different way. A life where you are regularly replenished, where your soul is nurtured, where you approach each day not from a place of depletion, but from a wellspring of renewed strength and peace. This isn't some unattainable ideal. It's the shepherd's promise to you. So I invite you to genuinely reflect for a moment. Are you currently running on empty? Are you constantly pushing, constantly striving, without taking intentional time to truly rest and be restored? What's one small yet intentional step you can take today, this very day, to allow the shepherd to make you rest, to lead you to your own personal green pasture and quiet water? It might be as simple as silencing your phone for 15 minutes to sit in nature, or dedicating a few moments to quiet, prayer, or intentionally saying no to one more commitment that would drain you. What is it that your soul craves for true replenishment? After the profound experience of allowing the shepherd to lead us to rest, to green pastures and still waters, comes an even deeper promise. He restores my soul. This isn't just about feeling better. It's a radical act of spiritual reintegration, of making us whole again from the fragmentation that modern life, guilt, regret, and unresolved issues can inflict upon us. Think about it. How many pieces of your soul feel scattered, pulled in different directions by conflicting loyalties, by past wounds, by the sheer volume of demands on your attention? This restoration is about bringing you back to your original design, to the vibrant whole person God created you to be, not just patching you up, but genuinely making you new. The restoration of the soul goes hand in hand with the concept of rest. True rest isn't merely the absence of activity. It is the active process of healing, of allowing the deep fissures within your spirit to mend. When your soul is fragmented, you feel scattered, directionless, perhaps even numb. But when the shepherd restores your soul, a sense of clarity, peace, and purpose begins to emerge. You begin to feel connected, aligned, no longer a collection of disjointed parts, but a unified, living being, ready to receive and reflect divine light. Then the verse continues, "He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake." This is where the shepherd's guidance becomes intensely practical, a direct application of that restored soul. Many people misunderstand paths of righteousness as merely following a set of strict, rigid rules or living a perfectly moralistic life in a legalistic sense. But that couldn't be further from the truth. These paths are the optimal navigation routes for your life. They are the very best way to live, not because some external force demands it, but because they are designed by your loving shepherd for your ultimate flourishing, for your deepest inner peace, and for a life that truly thrives. Consider the alternative, the paths of unrighteousness. These are the paths of compromise, of moral shortcuts, of self-seeking and fleeting gratification. They might promise immediate satisfaction, but they inevitably lead to further fragmentation, to emptiness, to regret, and to a corrosive anxiety that eats away at your soul. The shepherd, in his infinite wisdom and love, knows these dead ends, and so he gently or sometimes firmly leads us away from them. Thus, he guides us back to our true north, not for his benefit alone, but because living in integrity, choosing the path of goodness and truth, is what actually frees your soul and allows you to experience profound peace. This journey of realignment is often uncomfortable. Make no mistake. It might require letting go of old habits that have quietly sabotaged your peace, or stepping away from relationships that are subtly pulling you off course, or confronting beliefs that have kept you trapped in patterns of self-sabotage. But the shepherd's leading is always towards wholeness, always towards your greater good. He doesn't just point the way, he walks with you. He is actively involved in this process of making you whole and keeping you on the path that is truly beneficial for you. The direct link between spiritual and mental health here is undeniable. When your soul is restored and you are walking in alignment with righteousness, your mind finds clarity, your emotions find balance, and your overall well-being dramatically improves. Integrity, therefore, isn't just good for others. It's absolutely essential for your own internal peace and resilience. It's the foundation upon which a truly fulfilling life is built. So I invite you to reflect deeply on this. Where does your soul feel fragmented right now? What parts of you feel scattered, broken, or in need of divine reintegration? And what path of righteousness, a choice, a habit, a commitment to truth, are you being called to step onto, even if it feels difficult or countercultural in this moment? What alignment is the shepherd inviting you into, for his name's sake and for the sake of your own precious soul? Trust that his leading is always towards life, towards peace, towards true flourishing. Life, as we well know, isn't always a stroll through green pastures bathed in sunlight. After the tranquility of still waters and the restoration of our souls, the path often, inevitably, leads us into the stark reality of the valley of the shadow of death. This imagery is potent, isn't it? It speaks to the deepest human fears: darkness, the unknown, vulnerability, loss, and the specter of death itself. Every single one of us at some point will find ourselves walking through a valley. It might be the valley of grief after an unbearable loss, the valley of illness that drains your strength, the valley of financial hardship that brings constant worry, the valley of relational brokenness that shatters your peace, or even the subtle, insidious valley of spiritual dryness and profound uncertainty. The crucial understanding here is that the valley is not a detour, nor is it a punishment. It is profoundly a mandated passage. It's a part of the journey. There's no way around it. The shepherd leads through it. And this is where the psalm offers its most radical, most counterintuitive, and most powerful truth. I will fear no evil, for you are with me. Notice that this verse doesn't promise the absence of the valley or the elimination of the shadows. It promises something far more profound and infinitely more practical: the absence of fear within the valley, because of the unwavering, powerful presence of the shepherd. This isn't about ignoring the danger or pretending the pain isn't real. It's about practicing the art of fearing no evil, not because the evil isn't there, but because of who is with you. It transforms the experience of fear from a paralyzing force into a navigable emotion, overshadowed by a greater certainty. The focus shifts entirely from the daunting obstacle to the steadfast companion. Think about that for a moment. You're not alone. No matter how dark, how treacherous, how isolated the valley may feel, the shepherd is there. His presence isn't a magical charm that dissolves the darkness. It's a source of light and courage that allows you to move through it. Then the psalm speaks of your rod and your staff. They comfort me. These aren't abstract concepts. They were real tools of a shepherd. The rod was often a club, used for protection against predators, for warding off danger. The staff, with its crook, was used for guidance, for pulling a stray lamb back from the edge of a cliff, for gently nudging the flock along the right path, for drawing a sheep close for inspection or comfort. Their presence, far from being symbols of punishment, are actually profound tools of love, protection, and deep care. They speak of active, vigilant companionship. The shepherd isn't just present. He's equipped to handle the dangers of the valley, and he uses those tools for your comfort and safety. In your own valleys, whether they are valleys of sorrow, struggle, or deep questioning, how often do you feel alone, vulnerable, or lost? This truth offers an antidote to that crushing isolation. It invites you to lean into that divine presence, to acknowledge that while the circumstances may be terrifying, you have a protector and a guide walking right there with you. This companionship doesn't just make the valley bearable, it transforms it into a place where profound lessons are learned, where resilience is forged, and where your trust in the shepherd is deepened in ways that sunny pastures simply cannot provide. This passage is a call to courageous faith. It acknowledges that hardship is an inevitable part of the human condition, but it asserts that even in the face of our greatest fears, we are not left to our own devices. The shepherd's presence is a source of unshakable strength, allowing you to move forward one step at a time through whatever darkness you encounter. It's about finding courage not in the absence of danger, but in the certainty of his companionship and his unfailing protection. So I want you to consider, what valley are you navigating right now? What situation or season feels overwhelming, dark, or filled with uncertainty? How can you actively lean into the shepherd's presence, remembering that his rod and staff are for your comfort, not your condemnation? How can you consciously invite him to walk with you through this passage, allowing his presence to transform your fear into fearless, purposeful movement? Type 1 to write the next topic or type the changes you want to. Chapter 5. A table in the presence of enemies and overflowing cup, celebrating victory, unabashedly having navigated the intimidating shadows of the valley, the psalm now presents us with a scene of astonishing triumph, almost defiant joy. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. This is not just a meal. It is a meticulously prepared feast, an act of profound hospitality, staged not in a hidden safe place, but directly before those who wish you ill, those who oppose you. This isn't about defeating your enemies and then celebrating. It's about feasting while the critics watch. It's the ultimate act of defiance and trust, a bold statement that your provision and your peace are not dependent on the absence of opposition, but on the unwavering presence and power of your shepherd. Think about the enemies in your own life. They might not be external flesh and blood adversaries. Often our most formidable enemies are internal. The insidious whispers of self-doubt, the paralyzing grip of fear, the relentless pursuit of perfectionism that steals your joy, the echoes of past failures, or the critical voices, whether real or imagined, that undermine your confidence. Or perhaps they are the external critics, the naysayers, the toxic relationships, the systemic injustices that threaten to diminish your spirit. This verse assures us that even with these enemies lurking or actively observing, the shepherd can and will set a table for you. He provides nourishment, celebration, and honor, not after the battle, but in the midst of it. It's an undeniable declaration of divine favor that transcends circumstance. This act of preparing a table is followed by another powerful image. You anoint my head with oil. In ancient times, guests of honor were anointed with oil as a sign of welcome, blessing, and distinction. For sheep, oil was used to soothe wounds, repel insects, and bring a sense of calm. For you, it signifies a divine consecration, a fresh blessing, and a readiness for service even after passing through the valley. It's a public affirmation of your value and your place at his table, regardless of what your enemies might think or say. It's the shepherd saying, you are cherished, you are honored, and you are prepared. And then the culminating image of overflowing abundance. My cup overflows. This isn't merely having enough, it's having more than enough. It's abundance that spills over, a surplus of joy, peace, provision, and grace. It's a sign of generational abundance, not just for you, but enough to share, enough to bless others from your overflow. This speaks to a life lived not in scarcity, but in a profound awareness of God's limitless resources. It's a reminder that even when things seem dire, the shepherd's supply is inexhaustible. He doesn't just meet your needs, he lavishes you with blessings, filling your cup to the point of overflow. This section of the psalm offers powerful application for your daily life. It challenges you to cultivate a mindset of victory and gratitude, even when challenges persist, even when the critics are loudest, even when opposition seems formidable. It's about recognizing the unseen blessings, the unexpected moments of grace, and the constant opportunities to bless others from your own overflow, rather than waiting for perfect circumstances. It invites you to step into your moment of feasting, to unabashedly own your blessings, your purpose, and your identity in Him, regardless of external validation. So I want you to consider, what enemies, whether internal doubts, external critics, or challenging circumstances, are you allowing to diminish your joy, to keep you from truly celebrating the goodness in your life? How can you consciously, even defiantly, step into your moment of feasting, acknowledging the shepherd's provision and honor in your life, even in their presence? And how can you begin to recognize and share from the abundance of your own overflowing cup? We've traversed the tranquil green pastures, found restoration by still waters, navigated the treacherous shadows of the valley, and even feasted triumphantly in the very presence of our adversaries. Now, as the psalm draws towards its magnificent conclusion, it offers a promise that is both breathtakingly simple and profoundly eternal. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life. This isn't a passive hope. It's a declaration of an active pursuit of divine love, Goodness and mercy personified are not just walking alongside you, they are chasing you down relentlessly, day after day, year after year, through every season and every circumstance. Consider that imagery. Follow me. In our modern understanding, following might imply a casual, perhaps distant presence. But in ancient pastoral terms, the shepherd was out front, leading. What follows the sheep? Not usually goodness and mercy, but predators, dangers, or straying. Here, however, it's a divine reversal. It implies a ceaseless, intentional, and vigorous pursuit. Goodness, the active benevolence, the provision, the blessings, the beautiful things in life, and mercy, the forgiveness, the second chances, the grace that covers our shortcomings, the compassion that meets us in our failures. These two divine attributes are not merely waiting for you to stumble upon them. They are actively, energetically, and faithfully pursuing you. They are your constant companions, not just in the bright, easy moments, but through every single moment of your existence. This pursuit isn't conditional upon your performance, your perfection, or your unwavering faith. It's a testament to the shepherd's unchanging character. Even when you stray, when you stumble, when you doubt, when you feel unworthy, goodness and mercy are still in pursuit, ready to gather you back, to forgive, to restore. This truth radically reframes your understanding of setbacks, mistakes, and even failures. They are not dead ends, but rather moments when mercy has an opportunity to catch up and lift you. The phrase, "all the days of my life," seals this promise. It signifies an enduring, lifelong commitment. This isn't a temporary favor, it's an eternal covenant. From the first breath to the last, you are enveloped in this divine pursuit. This awareness profoundly changes how you approach your daily life. It instills a deep sense of security, knowing that no matter what tomorrow brings, no matter what challenges you face, no matter what mistakes you make, you are perpetually pursued by benevolent forces. This constant, faithful pursuit of goodness and mercy builds an unshakable inner resilience. It allows you to live with an open hand, confident in provision, and with a forgiving heart, knowing you are continually forgiven. And then the psalm culminates in the ultimate promise, "And I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever." This is not merely a distant, heavenly hope for the afterlife, though it certainly includes that. It speaks to a present reality, a deep spiritual connection here and now. The house of the Lord is a place of intimacy, of belonging, of security, of protection, of communion. It means you are always at home with Him, always in His presence, always under His roof of protection and care. This understanding transforms your concept of belonging from something you strive for to something that is already yours, unconditionally. To dwell in the house of the Lord forever means that your ultimate destiny is secure. You are not a wanderer without a final destination. You have an eternal home. This security impacts how you live today. It frees you from the tyranny of needing to control every outcome, from the fear of losing everything, because your true dwelling place, your ultimate security, is unassailable. It allows you to live with a hopeful, long-term perspective, understanding that every experience, even the difficult ones, is part of a larger, divinely orchestrated journey towards that eternal dwelling. This shapes your legacy, not just what you leave behind, but the very way you live your life. A life marked by peace, purpose, and profound belonging, radiating the goodness and mercy that have relentlessly pursued you. So, I invite you to pause and consider this profound truth. Are you truly aware of the relentless goodness and mercy that is actively pursuing you, right now, in this very moment? Can you perceive it in the small blessings, in the timely interventions, in the grace that meets your imperfections? And how does knowing that you are eternally secure, that you will dwell in the house of the Lord forever, impact how you live, love, and lead today? What fears can you release? What anxieties can you surrender, knowing you are always and forever pursued by His unwavering love? We have journeyed together through the ancient yet ever-relevant landscape of Psalm 23. From the radical act of surrender, declaring, "The Lord is my shepherd," and embracing the anti-hustle mentality that liberates us from constant striving, to discovering the vital importance of rest as a strategic weapon in green pastures and by still waters, allowing our weary souls to be replenished. We then moved into the profound process of realignment, as the shepherd restores our souls and leads us on the optimal navigation routes of righteousness, bringing wholeness and purpose back into our lives. We didn't shy away from the darkness, confronting the inevitable passage through the valley of the shadow of death, learning the art of fearing no evil because of the shepherd's unwavering presence and protective tools. And remarkably, we celebrated feasting while the critics watch, finding triumph and abundance even in the presence of our enemies, our cups overflowing with blessing. Finally, we grasped the incredible truth of the unending pursuit of grace, knowing that goodness and mercy are relentlessly chasing us down every single day, leading us inevitably to dwell in the very house of the Lord forever. This isn't just a beautiful poem, is it? It is far, far more than that. It is your life's essential GPS. It is a comprehensive, compassionate, and powerful blueprint for navigating the complexities, the challenges, and the profound joys of modern existence. It's a roadmap to a peace that the world, with all its promises and pressures, simply cannot give, and a peace that, once found, the world cannot possibly take away. This journey through Psalm 23 is not meant to be a mere intellectual exercise, a set of comforting words to be heard and then forgotten. No, this is an invitation. It's an urgent call to action. It's about not just hearing these profound truths, but truly living them, integrating them into the fabric of your daily decisions, your responses to stress, and your deepest aspirations. The power of this psalm lies not in its recitation, but in its application. It's an invitation to experience an unshakable peace, a deep well of security, and an abundant joy that flows from a radical reliance on the one who truly knows and cares for you, more intimately than you can ever imagine. It's about actively choosing to place your life, your anxieties, your hopes, and your future under the loving, capable guidance of the Good Shepherd. So, as we bring our time together to a close, I want to leave you with some crucial reflections. What single insight, what one phrase or truth from Psalm 23 resonated most deeply with your spirit today? Which part of this ancient wisdom touched a nerve, brought a sense of relief, or sparked a new possibility within you? And more importantly, how will you take that specific insight and apply it practically tangibly to your life this very week? Will you embrace the power of intentional surrender? Will you carve out time for true, soul-restoring rest? Will you lean into the realignment that your soul craves? Will you find fearless presence in your own valley or boldly feast in the face of your critics? Or will you simply allow the goodness and mercy that pursue you to wash over your life? Your journey is unique, but the shepherd's guidance is universal. His promises are for you. Share your thoughts, your reflections, your commitments in the comments below. Your story, your single step of faith, could be the very encouragement that someone else desperately needs to hear. A spark that ignites hope in another's heart. If this message has brought you even a sliver of peace, if it has inspired you, or shifted your perspective in any way, I humbly ask you to give this video a thumbs up. Share it with someone in your life who you know is desperately searching for peace, who needs to hear this powerful message of hope and provision. And please subscribe to join our community here as we continue to explore more insights on faith, purpose, and thriving in these challenging, yet incredibly opportunity-filled times. May His goodness and mercy truly follow you, relentlessly pursuing you, every single day of your life. And may you indeed dwell in the house of the Lord, forever at home, forever secure, forever loved. Amen. We then moved into the profound process of realignment, as the shepherd restores our souls and leads us on the optimal navigation routes of righteousness, bringing wholeness and purpose back into our lives. We didn't shy away from the darkness, confronting the inevitable passage through the valley of the shadow of death, learning the art of fearing no evil because of the shepherd's and remarkably, we celebrated feasting while the critics watch, finding triumph and abundance even in the presence of our enemies, our cups overflowing with blessing. Finally, we grasped the incredible truth of the unending pursuit of grace, knowing that goodness and mercy are relentlessly chasing us down every single day, leading us inevitably to dwell in the very house of the Lord forever. This isn't just a beautiful poem, is it? It is far, far more than that. It is your life's essential. It is a comprehensive, compassionate, and powerful blueprint for navigating the complexities, the challenges, and the profound joys of modern existence. It's a roadmap to a peace that the world, with all its promises and pressures, simply cannot give, and a peace that, once found, the world cannot possibly take away. This journey through Psalm 23 is not meant to be a mere intellectual exercise, a set of comforting words to be heard and then forgotten. No, this is an invitation. It's an urgent call to action. It's about not just hearing these profound truths, but truly living them, integrating them into the fabric of your daily decisions, your responses to stress, and your deepest aspirations. The power of this psalm lies not in its recitation, but in its application. It's an invitation to experience an unshakable peace, a deep well of security, and an abundant joy that flows from a radical reliance on the one who truly knows and cares for you, more intimately than you can ever imagine. It's about actively choosing to place your life, your anxieties, your hopes, and your future under the loving, capable guidance of the Good Shepherd. So, as we bring our time together to a close, I want to leave you with some crucial. What single insight, what one phrase or truth from Psalm 23 resonated most deeply with your spirit today? Which part of this ancient wisdom touched a nerve, brought a sense of relief, or sparked a new possibility within you? And more importantly, how will you take that specific insight and apply it practically tangibly to your life this very week? Will you embrace the power of intentional surrender? Will you carve out time for true, soul-restoring rest? Will you lean into the waves? Will you find fearless presence in your own valley or boldly feast in the face of your critics? Or will you simply allow the goodness and mercy that pursue you to wash over your life? Your journey is unique, but the shepherd's guidance is universal. His promises are for you. Share your thoughts, your reflections, your commitments in the comments below. Your story, your single step of faith, could be the very encouragement that someone else desperately needs to hear. A spark that ignites hope in another's heart. If this message has brought you even a sliver of peace, if it has inspired you, or shifted your perspective in any way, I humbly ask you to give this video a thumbs up. Share it with someone in your life who you know is desperately searching for peace, who needs to hear this powerful message of hope. And please subscribe to join our community here as we continue to explore more insights on faith, purpose, and thriving in these challenging, yet incredibly opportunity-filled times. May His goodness and mercy truly follow you, relentlessly pursuing you every single day of your life. And may you indeed dwell in the house of the Lord, forever at home, forever secure, forever loved.